Hello. Since I did my Pokemon Blue Marathon, I finished it, by the way. Finished the game, great game. It's all 8 out of point 10. We're ranking every Gen 1 battle. I think I'm gonna do that for every single for every single generation I finish. I think it'd be cool. Alright, starting with Gen 1, of course, Pokemon Blue. This is what we're doing today. Brock. The thing about Brock is if you pick Bulbasaur or Squirtle, it's a complete wash. Like I think Brock was like the easiest fight in the game by far for me. Like if I had to rank him on a battle, I would say he's like as a trainer in the game. I'd say he's an F tier because I literally watched him because of Vine Whip because he takes 4 times damage. I guess if you pick Charmander, it's a bit harder, like a good chunk, but I'm gonna say F tier just because if you pick the two other ones, you cooking. Misty. Misty has a very powerful Starmie, I'll say. Didn't give me much problem though. Again, it's my team, so it was a bit different. I'm gonna say Misty was probably like a C tier trainer. You know. This time I'll say with Misty, what it does help. Again, Bulbasaur is great for the fight, but because her Starmie is also Psychic type, it's a bit of coverage. And, or again, Bulbasaur's Poison type, and both Charmander and Squirtle are not good for her gym. So I'm actually giving her probably like a B tier, just because they looked over. There's that not an oversight, but they looked through that, and they got that covered. Lieutenant Surge, I think, is actually one of the harder fights in the game. I'm gonna put at A tier. No, not A tier, B tier too. I think Lieutenant Surge Electric, especially that early, Electric is a great type. If you pick Squirtle, you're cooked, and none of the other two starters are amazing against him. I mean, Bulbasaur is not very effective, but even then, he could still deal against that with other moves like Quick Attack and stuff. Especially his no stab in Gen 1. I would say his weakness is a ground type, so like if you get Diglett early. I did not have a ground type going to his battles, so it was not too crazy. Or it wasn't too easy. His gym puzzle sucks, though I hate the switches because I'm almost certain they are random each time, and it's always one of the ones to the adjacent to it. So you have to guess. I sat there for way too long doing that. This is Erica. Now, Erica isn't a super hard battle, especially at that point in the game. You have tons of flying and fire options to actually easily go through her, but she has status moves, and status moves in Gen 1 are an actual bitch. So I'm gonna put her B tier too. Um, I say yeah, B tier. She would be A tier if she wasn't a fourth gym leader, and you have more enough time to get like there's Arcanine or Ninetales, depending which version you're playing. You get the outside or Vulpix or Growlithe, then you get a stone from the Celadon department store. Eevee, you can get a Flareon, even though I don't think Flareon is near the best choice. You get a Fearow, Pidgey does not have a flying type move by then, so or I believe he doesn't. But like it could be better. Koga. I do think Koga is actually one of the harder gym leaders. I'm saying he's an A tier to go against. He wasn't the hardest thing in the world, but he definitely was like pretty. The poison type in Gen 1, poison type is a very good type because psychic and ground are good against it. I believe that is it. Psychic, of course, psychic is really good. If you're playing a single playthrough and you don't have another person to trade with, there's no use in getting most psychic types. Other than maybe like Executor is still not the best, or Jinx. Sorry. And Jinx is actually good, so that could be a possibility, but I don't think you could get her back in. But I'd say that's of course a bit weakness coding and ground type. Sand Slash was my goat because I love Sand Slash, so I used him. He did pretty good, but I think even with like a ground type, he still does fine. He can poison you and all that stuff. I think I barely not barely survived. Most of the battles I didn't die to. I think the saying Pokemon used to be so much harder is nostalgia bait. Because I think like Gen 5 is actually relatively hard generation as far as I remember. But like I low key swept through this easily. Anyway, we did not fight Jamie, so we're moving her down. Next is Sabrina. Sabrina was the hardest battle in the game out of all gym leaders, purely because Alakazam. Now I didn't have too horrible of a trouble with her, but I almost, if that Alakazam did not, if I didn't, I think it was paralyzed or something. But if I didn't get rid of Alakazam quickly, I would have been cooked. Especially because in Gen 1, poison type I think is probably one of the most abundant types in the game. There's so many of them. So I like poison, normal, tons of them. Even though I think for the most part the pretty balanced, there's tons of poison. Normal types that are actually really good. No, not about normal poison type especially. Like even a starter Venusaur is poison. Victory Bell, Oddish, not Oddish, Vileplume. There's Muck. Plenty of good poison types in the game. So I think that's another big weakness. You can get washed, and even the other two starters, a lot of their Pokemon, since Psychic has no weakness in Gen 1, Sabrina washed. Plus Sabrina's bad as fuck. Anyways, Blaine. Blaine, I think is a solid. I'm gonna say C. No, I'm gonna say I don't want to put him C D tier. I'm gonna say C tier. It's just with Blaine, the I do think with Blaine he is a bit harder, but Cinnabar Island, a fire type gym, being surrounded by an ocean did not make it hard. I'm actually putting down D tier because it's not an oversight. I get that they do that on purpose. So you can get a Pokemon that like fight a gym being super effective. But I feel like with Lieutenant Surge, it was good because you had one option around it to be good against him, which was Diglett. Okay, Brock, you could go get Nidorino and get Double Kick. Yeah, that's cool. Erica, there's three fire types available. Okay, and I don't think Misty. These three, I don't really think have any direct counters around them. Anyways, but then Blaine, it's like all water types around him, like literally all. And I just feel like that's bit that dumb. It's late, so I am yawning a lot. And now I'll put him C tier. I also don't think it helped that when I fought him, I'd Kabutops or Kabuto, and he's a water rock type against a fire gym. So you can see how that goes. It was just not a hard battle. Anyways, next we got Giovanni. Giovanni is a really solid bound, but A tier. He is a challenging trainer. He has his rock and ground team. I actually think the fact that he's a rock and ground trainer in Gen 1 is the only thing holding him down. Because Gen 1 was not good for those types, like at all. Rhydon was okay, I'll say. But he had a Rhyhorn. Um, did he have Golem? No, I think he just had he had a the pre-evolution, whatever it was, Graveler. I'm pretty sure on his team, but no, he didn't. He had Golem. But even then, it's like it's a very unfortunate typing. Um, Rock and Ground is just not a good type. It is a horrendous type because you just get completely messed up by any grass or water type. Fighting types hurt you. There's so many types that hurt you. It's not the worst type. Parasect exists in Gen 1, but it's not a good type in Gen 1 either. Especially with all the grass and water types again. And even the fighting types. You literally get fighting types for fighting trainers. You get those free and they're both good. Like I just think it is that's the only thing holding him down. But even then, the fight is still hard. He still has plenty of counters and everything, and it's great. Plus Giovanni's aura, Lorelai. I'd say like a solid A tier. Lorelai is an ice trainer, quotation marks. She has a lot of water types. I do think though they should have made her a water trainer. I guess I know why they didn't, but she's a really solid battle, like a really good battle. She was my when I was younger, she was my biggest robot in Elite Four. Not anymore. I think she's second biggest. Um, she just she has ice types, of course. You could say elf fighting types, but then she's a Jinx who's all psychic. She actually has like Slowbro who's water psychic, so that's even worse. When it then there's also like other things about her. I don't know why I said it like that, but electric type. Okay, she's like electric or ice, which I think not super weak, but like she can still do damage. I do think electric is a huge weakness of hers though, which would be less if there was less ice type. But even then, she has Jinx, who's able to go against electrics, being an ice psychic, no relation to water. So I think she's a pretty solid battle. Bruno, I think, is a C tier. No D tier. The fighting type expert has the fighting type expert that has two onyxes who both get one shot by any grass or water type in the game, and can even probably get one shot by fighting types. Well, not fighting, because fighting's the base oversight of having an Onyx that late is that Onyx isn't a good Pokemon post early game, purely because Onyx has high physical defense, not no special, and in Gen 1, all grass and water moves are special, so he completely gets wiped, like horrifically, and it's not even close. And then he does have his fighting types, which are better, but it's not enough to make up for it, especially because Furo is an option in Gen 1 or Dodrio, who are both extremely strong Pokemon. I'll go with Furo personally, better Pokemon, but like they can put in huge work against him. Next is Agatha, who does have the coat. There, it has the Coca thing, but worse. I'm gonna say like a C tier. It's just by that point, I think there's just Ghost is a good type. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that all her Pokemon are poison, there's no Levitate. It just ground type just crushes her. This is my experience, by the way, so that's why I'm going through this. Like some of these gym battles were so easy. Like I think most of them were really easy, and it's just my God. I did not wipe to her once. I think I literally had a run where I got both through her and Bruno with zero Pokemon dead, which was crazy. Anyway, second last is Lance, who I think is S tier. Lance is hard because he's a dragon type trainer with flying Pokemon, and he just has very good coverage. Oh, you're gonna use an electric Pokemon against bring out your Jolteon against Gyarados. Okay, cool, you kill Gyarados. Now let's bring out the dragon type, so electric's not good against. And then you also have Aerodactyl. If you bring out like a fire type or something, or I guess not why we bring a fire type, if you bring out a flying type, like he has good coverage, and I think that's great. He has Hyper Beam, which is an extremely broken move in Gen 1. He has a Dragonite and Aerodactyl, Gyarados, great Pokemon. He does have two Dragonairs, which brings him about a bit, but even then his battle is still plenty hard. I think it is a great battle. And finally, Blue. I'm also put S here in battle. Blue's battle is challenging, it's engaging. I think his Pidgeot is definitely like the easiest Pokemon ever to go against, like by far, because Electric type just eats it, and Pidgeot is a terrible Pokemon in Gen 1, and I don't think Pidgeot actually was ever good. But not only that, his Alakazam wiped me, and almost wiped me twice actually. Alakazam is a great Pokemon. He has Gyarados, great. Executor could be better, but still pretty good for Gen 1. He has a starter. His starter is not like the least of your concerns, to be honest. Blue has a great team. Mr. Blue, Mr. Gary, whatever you want to call him. Amazing. And that is how to rank all the Gen 1 trainers, the major battles, like the gym leader stuff, after after fighting them in my marathon. That's it. Good night.